Tired of doom scrolling? Time for a dose of awesome. 5 Good News Stories is your happy place, where underdogs become champions, crossing guards become legends, and impossible dreams come true. We're serving up 5 fresh reasons to believe in humanity. From world records to cute animal stories, to that guy who turned his pizza shop into a homeless shelter. These are the stories that'll make you go, wait, what? That's amazing! Ready for your good news fix? Follow 5 Good News Stories wherever you get your podcasts, because let's face it, we could all use more awesome in our lives. The number 5 Good News Stories.
Hello, it is Ryan, and I was on a flight the other day playing one of my favorite social spin slot games on ChumbaCasino.com. I looked over at the person sitting next to me, and you know what they were doing? They were also playing Chumba Casino. Coincidence? I think not. Everybody's loving having fun with it. Chumba Casino is home to hundreds of casino-style games that you can play for free anytime, anywhere, even at 30,000 feet. So sign up now at ChumbaCasino.com to claim your free welcome bonus. That's ChumbaCasino.com and live the Chumba life.
No purchase necessary. VGW. Void where prohibited by law. See terms and conditions. 18+.
It is the world's most secretive election. When a pope dies, ancient traditions begin. A silver hammer, a destroyed ring, over 100 cardinals locked away from the world, choosing the next leader of 1 billion faithful. White Smoke. The path to a new pope, from Calaroga Shark Media, wherever you get your podcasts.
Calaroga Shark Media.
Hey there, I'm Johnny Mac with your daily comedy news. Ari Shaffir caught up with Fox News Digital and told some stories about the dark years. Starting out in L.A., Ari said his early days learning the ropes in West Hollywood's Comedy Store were the dark years. It was evil. We were like doing crazy stuff. We had like gambling rings in the back. People would be hooking up in the back. It was just like crazy stuff would happen there. Drug use, and it was awesome. But there was no crowd. Every 2 weeks we'd have a show where there was just no show because nobody showed up. But because of that, we got used to failure. Ari said it's harder to break in LA compared to the other big comedy cities. It's so disheartening. The open mics, the low-level stuff is so crappy. It's so crappy that almost all my funny friends failed out. There's no positive feedback ever. It's just terrible. Iliza Shlesinger is going to be down in Sydney at Sydney Fest. She caught up with the Sydney Morning Herald and explained her morning routine. I have a strict diet of 2 cups of coffee and at least 9 hours of scrolling in the morning before I even talk to my children. I try to remember how much of this is not real. I think especially in the past few years, you're an idiot if you think what you're being fed is based in any kind of reality. She does like social media. It's allowed more international fans to discover her work. She had just recently played some dates in Japan. Iliza said at its finest, social media as a connective tool, the internet is a credible thing, but at its worst, the way most of us experience it, it's our sugary demise. If you go see her at Sydney, she'll be doing her latest hour, Get Ready, and she enjoys the up-for-anything energy of Australian crowds. You guys love a good time. Anyone who's ever gotten drunk while in Australia knows this. You're like tropical British people. I'm really looking forward to coming back down under, though please note I did cringe when I just said down under. I sound like such a tourist. Gabe Iglesias talked about one approach to his comedy, which is nobody wants to hear about you having a good day. They want to hear about the struggle. Gabe collects watches. He also is known to collect cars and Marvel memorabilia. The LA Times was curious, where does the drive to collect stuff come from? Gabe said, that comes from not having stuff when I was a kid. I always wanted this, and Mom's like, no, we can't afford it. So when I got in a position where I could get those toys that I wanted as a kid, I made sure to do it. I figured I don't have any crazy habits. There's no drugs. There's just nothing that's like, that I'm spending money on. So I'm going to buy the toys. I'm going to buy the goodies. The collection from Marvel, that comes from me being a fan of the brand. I love Marvel. I watch DC, but I'm pretty one-sided on that one. I even got offered an opportunity to be in a DC film, and I turned it down because I'm like, I'm going to be a hypocrite if I do it. That's crazy, Gabe. First of all, I wonder who he would have played in a DC film. And that's crazy, dude. That's like really crazy. You should have said yes. Gabe said, I'm going to be a hypocrite if I do it. As far as the buses go, my first car was a 68 Volkswagen bus. Many years later, I got my ex her first car back. I said, you know what? I want to get my first car back. I got one, and then the guys that got me the car said, if you want another one, let us know. And then I was like, well, if you come across something cool, let me know. And it kept going and going and going, and now the whole building's full. I recently got a free car from Volkswagen because they found out about the collection. They came down here and said, wow, you are passionate about our product. Gabe's grateful that he still has his career. He says, this career has a shelf life. It's not supposed to last this long, and I feel very fortunate that I'm still able to do it. And the fact that we're still going up, it's insane to me. So I'm enjoying every day, and I want fans to know that I feel lucky and I'm grateful. And if this goes away tomorrow, we can all say we did all this. Felipe Esparza also spoke to the LA Times and said, I think as a comedian, you can make a joke about anything you want, but you got to be prepared to take the consequences of your words. You can't forget that part. One time early in my career, I was asked to do a clean comedy show, and I didn't cuss, but I did some jokes about racism and religion, and I said the wrong thing, and it ticked some people off, and the microphone was cut off. It had a lot to do with the content, not necessarily the cursing. But it's important as a comedian to know the audience, especially when you get hired for private or corporate events. Now, though, if I'm hired when I do shows, people know when you hire me, you get what you get. If you know my shows, you know I'm going to make jokes about drugs, sex, marriage, race, religion, and more. I'm going to use vulgarity, but as a stand-up comic, I've evolved from a one-liner to a comedian that tells stories, and it's some really dark stuff, but I find it all funny. I don't like to be too political, but I do touch on immigration and race somewhat in a soft way to make people laugh. For instance, in one joke, I noticed how white people don't work all month at their jobs, then send money back to Scotland or Ireland. White people don't have immigrant relatives from Germany or Belgium showing up at their door with blankets saying they need a place to live. If I get people to laugh at some of the topical jokes, that's a good thing. One thing we proved in this last election is you can't put Hispanics and Latinos in the same category anymore. We're not all the same brown people. There are some Mexicans that want other Mexicans and Central Americans deported from the country. It's insane, but overall, I try not to take the angle where I come out saying all whites are racist and kill all white people, because that's not really funny. There really isn't a joke there. I try to make little jokes about the topics and get people to laugh. Gianmarco Soresi, a friend of the show, described how his comedy has evolved. He said, coming up, I worked at a club in Times Square called LOL that no longer exists, thank God. Yeah, Gianmarco's not kidding there. Wasn't the greatest New York City comedy club, just saying. A lot of the crowd was not paying attention. For some, English was their second language. Some were drunk or just noisy and had to cut through all that, so your jokes had to move quick and each had to really pop. I got a lot of skills out of it, but the turns and twists had to be so sharp they were less true and relied on being a little extra dirty or edgy. It was tough to build a world or tell a story. Now that I can tell a story or paint more of a picture, the punchline's more meaningful. He explained in his newest work, he has a joke about feeling suicidal and having a friend who's suicidal, and explains, if I'd done that in a 10-minute club set, people would say, dude, I just want to have a good Friday night. What are you doing? But my fans know my point of view and like darker things, so I can explore these topics. But almost every comedian, even the greats, gradually get worse. One factor is performing for your fans who like you and will laugh even at a failed joke. You lose the fear about keeping their attention and having to write something so sharp. Stand-up is a tricky art form. You can feel like a try-hard. In the beginning, you could have accused me of being too theatrical without the jokes to back it up. I got labeled as too one-man show at one club, which was frustrating. But for me, it's pretty natural. When attention is thrust upon me, a flamboyance emerges. I'm trying to lean into that without exaggerating it. Always asking, how can this be funny and serve the storytelling? As my stages literally get bigger, I look at the real estate and think, I have to use it for something. What can I use the stool or the mic stand for in a way that doesn't feel overly choreographed but still adds a dimension that a lot of comics in the generation above me veered away from? Grab your phone. It's time for March college basketball. You know how that rolls. Yeah, I'm working from home. Yeah, I'm totally not watching the games. I'm totally working. Nothing beats March basketball. Bring the fun of a bracket to every game day by making entries on Underdog. Underdog is one of the leading sports apps, and you can play it now in your state. Do you want to win up to 1,000 times your money? You can with Underdog. Who do you go for? Do you like the favorites, or do you like riding, no pun, one of those underdogs? A 16, that's always fun. And it's always fun to have some extra interest in the game. Pick a player and go higher or lower on one of their stats, including points, assists, rebounds, and more. Underdog has all your favorite leagues, teams, and stars to choose from. You can create entries with all basketball selections or mix and match across other sports. You can play with as little as $1, and if you get everything right, you can win up to 1,000 times your money. So turn $1 into $1,000 just with your hoops knowledge. You've heard me talk about this. I'm in the comfy chair. I've got my phone. I'll put on a game. I pick a player. I go higher or lower. I think for basketball, I'm kind of a lower guy. Download the Underdog app and sign up now using the promo code DCN to unlock a special offer of up to $1,000 in bonus credits when you make your first deposit. Join in on the fun when you sign up with promo code DCN. Claim your special offer today and get up to $1,000 in bonus credits instantly upon first deposit. Must be 18 plus, 19 plus, Alabama and Nebraska, 19 plus in Colorado for some games, 21 plus, Massachusetts and Arizona, and present in a state where Underdog Fantasy operates. Void where prohibited. Terms apply. Concerned with your play, call 1-800-GAMBLER or visit www.ncpgambling.org. Arizona, 1-800-NEXT-STEP, 1-800-639-8783, or text NEXT STEP to 53342. In New York, call the 24/7 HOPE line at 1-877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY 467-369. Underdog app, promo code DCN.
Step into the world of power, loyalty, and luck.
I'm gonna make him an offer he can't refuse.
With family, cannolis, and spins mean everything.
Now, you wanna get mixed up in the family business.
Introducing The Godfather at ChumbaCasino.com. Test your luck in the shadowy world of The Godfather slot.
Someday, I will call upon you to do a service for me.
Play The Godfather now at ChumbaCasino.com.
Welcome to the family.
No purchase necessary. VGW Group. Void where prohibited by law. 21 plus. Terms and conditions apply.
Gary Owen thinks we're in a golden age of comedy. He says you don't need the machine anymore. It used to be, when I started, you needed a producer, a director, or somebody to see something in you to put you on something. Now, as long as you got your phone, you can record anything you want. You can put any stand-up clip you want out there. You never know what's going to go viral. That brought the conversation to Matt Rife. Rife's a guy who posts something on TikTok, goes to bed, wakes up the next morning, and it's like 70 million people saw this joke. And he's like, what happened? I think you got more comedians right now selling tickets, doing theaters, doing arenas. Comedy clubs are packed. You see Andrew Schultz, or you see Shane Gillis and the way they're pushing the envelope. You could see this is what we want. We want to go into these rooms and be uncomfortable. We want this dark humor, and nobody's taking it personally. Chelsea Handler was on Dax Shepard's podcast and said she did not want to break up with Joe Coy, but felt like she had no choice. She explained, I felt like it was a decision between having a relationship and being full on or choosing myself and my sanity. Sanity is an overstatement, but I would have compromised my own value system. That's interesting. She explained what I thought was a mature, healthy relationship and what he thought was a mature, healthy relationship were two different things. I know I've had to compromise everything I stand for, and I wasn't willing to do that. We had a couple instances where it was obvious that we had different ideas about togetherness and the amount of time we'd spend together and the expectation of me as his girlfriend, which to me were very outdated, old-fashioned, and not going to work. The biggest takeaway from that relationship was that I was able to be in love in a vulnerable, mature, healthy way, and that when I realized it wasn't going to work out, I was able to end it in a healthy, mature way and not divulge all the stuff and the ugliness that might have happened in between because I didn't want to focus on that. Chelsea said Joe Coy got me at a point in my life where I needed to be reminded of my strength and my power of who I am, and he reinstalled that in me because I'd kind of lost interest in my work and the job. And that is your comedy news for today. If you enjoy the program, tell a friend about it. They might like it too. See you tomorrow.
It is Ryan here, and I have a question for you. What do you do when you win? Like, are you a fist pumper, a woohooer, a hand clapper, a high fiver? I kind of like the high five, but if you want to hone in on those winning moves, check out Chumba Casino. At ChumbaCasino.com, choose from hundreds of social casino-style games for your chance to redeem serious cash prizes. There are new game releases weekly, plus free daily bonuses, so don't wait. Start having the most fun ever at ChumbaCasino.com.
No purchase necessary. VGW Group. Void where prohibited by law. See terms and conditions. 18 plus.
It is the world's most secretive election. When a pope dies, ancient traditions begin. A silver hammer, a destroyed ring, over 100 cardinals locked away from the world, choosing the next leader of 1 billion faithful. White smoke. The path to a new pope, from Calaroga Shark Media, wherever you get your podcasts.
If you're fascinated by UFOs, aliens, ghosts, demons, cryptid creatures like Bigfoot, Chupacabra, and Mothman, then I have the show for you. The Paranormal 60 with Dave Schrader. Each week, we investigate different claims of the supernatural and try to shed light into the darkness, bringing you the top guests and experts from around the world. Enter the fray. Then join me, Dave Schrader, your host, as we investigate all aspects and claims of the supernatural and paranormal. Listen on all of your favorite podcast platforms: Good Pods, TuneIn, Pocket Casts, Deezer, Player FM, Amazon Music, Audible, Podcast Addict, Podchaser, Google Podcasts, CastBox, Spotify, iHeartRadio, and Apple Podcasts. The answers to life's biggest questions and miracles and mysteries awaits you. So join me each week, 2 brand new episodes of the best in paranormal podcasting, The Paranormal 60 with Dave Schrader.